welcome to the Heart and Home podcast. We're just doing a follow-up from our very special guest, Tina. So if you have not caught the previous episode, please go catch it because this is a continuation. And we are gonna jump right in.
And we're gonna squeeze her a little bit more.
Yeah, squeeze a little bit more. And like close it a little bit.
Yes.
Tina, I have a question. And I'll tell you where this spawned from. I do have like parents who come up to me and they'll ask me like, oh, but you look at my child. Do you think my child has? And I'm like, I'm not a psychiatrist. I direct shows. And they'll keep asking me this. So just for like parents out there, not just for them to diagnose, please don't do that. Watch the other episode. But are there any signs, early signs that parents can look out for, not diagnose? Thank you.
For sure. I think early signs would be, anything you feel a little bit awkward, or you're sensing like, hey, this child, like, how come not keeping up with his peers in a certain way? And I don't mean competitive, okay? Like not reading a book faster than his peers or something. It's just like that, the subtle things, his other siblings or her other siblings were, could do something at a certain stage. Whereas this one is like sometimes in their own world, sometimes just like Energizer Bunny all over the place. So there are just certain behaviors that you find, even as a parent, you're exasperated. I think sometimes we also do need to be cued into our own emotions, self-aware enough to realize, okay, it's not that you're the, most patient person in the world, and therefore, or rather you're not the most patient in the person in the world, and therefore when you are a bit impatient, you feel like, okay, I have to grow in this area, but sometimes when you get so exasperated, you have to ask yourself, if I, the parent who loves this precious child, can get so triggered by their behavior, there must be something not quite right with it. Okay, so one of it is age appropriate. Yes. So an example which I mentioned in the earlier episode, if the child is having a huge meltdown that is like way bigger than their age. So for example, they're P1, 7 years old, but the tantrum looks like a 3-year-old child, trashing on the floor, yelling and screaming and crying non-stop for like 20 minutes or something. Then you're thinking, okay, wait, like he's 7, he's gone through like preschool, primary, kindergarten, now primary school already. Shouldn't be behaving this way, right? So it's not like, okay, wow, now I have to like reverse to when he was 3 years old to spank him or yell at him or, because you have done what you have done in those last 4 years, but somehow his brain is not able to regulate. So these are telltale signs, like not age appropriate behavior, Yeah.
So would it be right that, let's say because just now it's not age appropriate, right? Then I manage the situation like he was at 3 years old. Would that be something right to do, or?
Okay, in maybe the gentleness of the approach.
Yes.
Sure. Not in like bringing out the cane and yelling and screaming at a 3-year-old, because in the first place, I think that doesn't work for any 3-year-old.
It doesn't work at all.
Yeah, drives fear and really won't work. But you can't do, it's a bit like the definition of insanity. Yeah? Remember, you keep doing the same thing but expecting a different response. So if you keep doing the same thing to your child as you would have, you're the same parent from 3 years old to 4 years old until now 7, and somehow they just cannot regulate, then you also need to go and equip yourself, right?
Yeah.
Are there ways I need to figure out how to better guide my child when he goes through this kind of episode? Yeah.
A lot of the times when we look at children with special needs, we always see things from a perspective or angle of deficit. In your years of working with children with special needs, can you share with our audience or whoever is listening, right? What are the strengths that they have?
Oh, children with special needs have very interesting strengths, quite unexpected sometimes. For example, they are very helpful.
Yes.
Okay? They're very spontaneous because in a way they don't have those social barriers of like, oh, is it right for me to volunteer now? If they see someone in need, they'll just go and do it.
Yeah.
And they are very purpose driven.
Yeah.
So if you were to tell them, oh, I really need help with this thing, can you do this? They will just do it. They don't think twice. And I think that's something very special of them, which we miss out because when they're helpful, we don't see it. Then when they don't do their homework, wow, they're like, have transgressed this huge, thing that we expect of them. So that's one thing. They tend to be very creative.
Yes.
They are very creative problem solvers because they see connections and associations where we don't see it. They are able to look at a problem in a very different way from us. So those are certain very special and unique traits that are quite common across different ADHD children and teens.
So what I'm hearing is that they are very purpose driven. They are willing to help,
Mm.
and that creativity,
Mm.
and at the same time also they are not bounded by social norms.
Yeah, correct.
And they'll just do it because they feel that they want to do it.
Correct. They're very genuine actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to clarify, even though they may have social communication difficulties, it's not that they don't want to have friendships or they have no emotions. They are actually still people who really thrive on wanting to make people happy as well in a friendship. But they may not know how to. That's why they can give very elaborate gifts, for example, spend all their pocket money buying things for their friends because they just think, I mean, and then we, the neurotypicals, will say, oh, they were trying to buy friendships, buy favor. Actually, it's not in that way. They're not doing it in a manipulative way. They're doing it just because they think, oh, my friend really likes this thing and I don't want to eat that much, so I'm going to spend this money and buy that thing for them. And they must buy elaborate gifts because this is the value of how much they care for this person.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
How then can parents identify, reinforce, and recognize all the strengths?
I think spend time with your child in non-academic settings. Really, do and
Can you
develop.
repeat that again? It's louder.
Yeah.
Spend time with your child in non-academic settings.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would even challenge parents, please reduce some of the enrichment and tuition classes.
Oh,
Because you don't have enough time to have a non-academic pursuits means that you
Yes.
have not enough time and you're packing their schedule for
They have
unnecessarily.
to go for therapy, or maybe if they have
Yeah.
reading difficulties, they go for
Yes.
reading classes,
Yes.
and then they go for piano because parents still want for them to be normal.
Yes, correct. So a bit, sometimes it's really way too much, you know. And children, I recently heard from some visiting professors, right, that children develop their executive function, back to the brain
Yes.
development, the best with art and music
Yes.
and outdoor activities,
Yeah.
not actually academic.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't just train them, go, okay, this is how you organize things and then expect the neural pathways to work. Actually, they learn it best through artistic activities, sports activities, and music activities that are more free flow
Yeah.
because it allows them to organize things without them realizing they're organizing.
Yes.
You know, remembering things like when they're playing a game, they need to remember the rules of a game. When they're running back and forth in the field, they need to know what they're running for. They're running for the ball or they're running to stop the ball from going to the goalie or you know what, there are different rules that they have to keep in mind and all these train the executive function. So yes, do things that are recreational, that are hobbies, hobbies that you can develop with your child because then you start to see their strengths.
Yes.
And slowly you go, oh wow, my child is so good at this thing. But that thing would have never shown up if you just concentrate on math, science, you know, English
Academics.
and of course secondary school, all the other academic subjects.
Are there some like everyday interactions that can help support this like healthy brain development of these children who are like neurodivergent?
Just being present with your child, bringing them outdoors, right? Doing, even if it's they are not, I know there are many Singapore children similar to my own boys even who are not very sporty, right? But trying to just at least bring them out for a walk, you know, or excusing the walk for, okay, I need bread, I need milk. Mom, what do you need? You know, when daddy asks, and then, okay, let's go buy for mom, buy for the home, some groceries, you know, make it purposeful, of course,
Yes.
because they need the purpose. And then at that time when you're walking, have conversations, you know, have those kind of relaxed moments where you process the day, when you talk about emotions, when you also, you know, talk about regulation skills too, like, hey, you know, that time when, you know, you were having this big, you know, what are some things you can do, you know, and to talk through with them because sometimes they actually know what would help them. But at that point when they're dysregulating, they can't tell you, right?
Yeah.
So they can, maybe you can come up with a code word in advance. You can, all these problem solving can be done in this kind of disposable time. If you make sure you have disposable time
Yeah.
with your children.
You know what I actually advocate for? Nature soaking. Have you heard of? Have you heard this?
Yes,
this term
forest
before?
soaking, forest bathing, they call
forest
it.
bathing,
Yeah.
nature soaking, and a lot of the times when parents ask me like, "What should I do with my child?" or as together as a family, I say like, "Do you have money to burn, or you want free?" So it's like,
That's a
actually
good one.
The better
Free
low
lah.
cost lah. So it's like one thing that I always share with them is you can either go sunrise hunting and very easy, just find a nice spot. Is if you go to East Coast Park on a Sunday morning, there's nobody there. You find a nice spot that faces where the sun rises. You sit down, put on your camera, put on a tripod, put on a time lapse, and as the sun goes up, right, from 6:45 to 7:10, 7:15, and you just do deep breathing together. And one of the things that I've learned is that you don't have to say anything, but you're
That's so
just
true.
soaking in the glory of nature.
Yeah, you're right.
And actually, when I suggest parents to do this, they're like, sure or not? And then when they actually try it out, like, and then they were in the next session, like, Taufik, that was the best 45 minutes I ever had with my child, and I didn't say anything.
Yep.
And these are kind of the experiences that our children will remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also do it, for what? I wake up everyone at 5:30 in the morning, right? So just imagine if you have no problem waking up at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday or Sunday, Monday to Friday, no problem.
Yep, and it works with positive school routines.
Yes,
Very good.
And it does.
Yes,
And this,
you're right.
Yeah, I
you're
tell them
right.
it's very sneaky on my end, but hey,
Yep.
it's going to work.
Yeah, you're right. You don't always need to have curated programs.
Yeah.
Sometimes just being out and then letting them explore, touch this, touch that, run around, is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
correct.
play, right? It's
Yeah.
important to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
Maybe you could share with us a bit even more, like how can play help in developing the brain for these children?
Yeah, actually, even allowing them to find things to play with. If they can use their imagination, they can just figure out how to occupy themselves when they are bored. Actually, all of this activates creativity, helps them to also build executive functioning skills because they need to know, okay, I can be here, I can do this, but okay, I must be safe. If I just like jump off this rocky thing of I will fall down, right? So letting them explore through their own bumblings or their whatever they want to do, running around the beach, instead of yelling after them is stop running, don't fall down, don't just let them
go.
figure. And it's a little bit back to like seemingly our kampong days. I know we
Yes.
cannot go back there, but we don't always have to buy all sorts of like logical games,
Yes.
card games, all sorts of things. I mean, those are helpful, but then our child always thinks that every time there is like nothing to do, they're so bored.
Yes.
And they don't know how to activate their imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is the biggest struggle with a lot of our children now. You ask them, because like, have you seen this meme before? That the mom is telling the child, you're always playing games, go outside and play. So they took the computer, play outside.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Because we also, to be fair, all of us came out of COVID, right?
Yes.
Less than now 6 years ago already, but of course the whole thing lasted like 3 years. So yes, a lot of us had to resort to gadgets, right? Screens to occupy the children because the work from home and then home-based learning, all of that, and Singapore urban setting, and sometimes couldn't even exercise, etc., etc. But now that we are out of it,
Yes.
I think we have to make conscious effort to just disengage from screens.
Yes.
It really,
Oh,
I mean, a lot
wow.
of research has shown it does not benefit children to be exposed to screens too early. So
Need to like blast that out on
Yeah.
the screen right
Yeah.
now for
There
the
was
parents.
I think in February, early February, I think some schools have enforced that you keep your gadgets or
yes,
devices
all secondary schools.
in the
Yeah.
lockers. And one of the things that they noticed or they observed that they were able to function and focus better in class because there was less distractions. People started talking to other people.
Yes.
Communication increased.
Yes.
And they were only allowed to take it after school, I think during recess time. I'm
No
not sure.
recess even. I think
Yeah.
after school only.
And what they noticed is that people, like the students, were able to have better conversations and communicate better.
Yeah, totally. So as of I think this year, Singapore instituted all secondary schools
Yeah.
to have this
love
supposed handphone ban.
Yeah.
Of course, some parents were like reeling in, how am I going to contact my child, kind of thing. But back to like basics or old fashioned, like at what time you're coming home, whatever, know. Yeah. So we can train
Yes.
them to know how to communicate at the right time. Yeah.
It's
I
the same
think
as
there's a
back
lot of
when we
value.
were. We didn't have handphones when we were in school.
Yep.
We might have pagers. That's about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. You're right. So, we really do want to disengage them from things that are too easy, to stimulate them. And it becomes, yes, it's a conversation starter. You stare at each other's screen, what are you looking at? What am I looking at? But it's communication that doesn't go deeper,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't also find out like what is this person's interest,
Yes.
who is this person, and also a lot of social skills even in the general population has gone down the hill, right? Like they don't know how to look eye to eye people
Yes.
because
Yeah.
there's so much heightened
I've-
anxiety.
Yeah.
I've
You
had
know?
this before when
Yeah.
I was speaking to this child and in a session, and the child looked at me and then like,
Yeah, correct. They're just so scared to have
Yeah.
eye contact.
Yeah.
Not easy.
not
you
children
know,
also,
but,
Yeah.
adults too. And
adults also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
I
adults
see
also.
that in youth that I work with as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Mm.
The inability to hold eye contact.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
What's that from?
Just a thought before we end our episode now, because I think we can drag for one more actually, but but if there's one thing that you would say to parents
Mm.
who are feeling overwhelmed
Mm.
and their child has special needs
Mm.
or neurodivergent,
Mm.
if there is like one word of wisdom or like any advice that that you would share with them, what would that be?
You are not alone. Okay, I will tell you, you're not alone. Find like-minded people to connect with. Not all parents who have special needs children may click with you. Okay, so it takes a while to build a community. Find people who align with your values, and don't pressure you to sort of do totally different from what you're doing. For example, there is the camp that goes everything organic, everything healthy food, everything like no gluten, no whatever, blah blah blah. I mean, yes, some of this can help, but
Yes.
then the large proportion of us cannot afford that kind of commitment,
Yes.
right? To see that through. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you have some extremes within the community, but find your tribe lah. Take some time to build that, even if it's one or two other persons, especially in a scenario where you can possibly hang out together. Just meet at the beach, meet at the playground, and then your children can play. And even if they fight, it's okay because you know that they will fight anyway. But at least the parents are there. You all can learn from each other. You can not judge one another, laugh about it, cry about it together. So take time to build community because you are really not alone. There's so many others who also feel alone, but they're actually having such similar struggles, and it's not easy. It seems like we are the odd ones out, but actually now in Singapore, in every school, there are so many. So it is a common problem, but it's still difficult. Not dismissing your struggles, but just don't journey alone. Yeah, because staying alone can be very overwhelming. And Singaporeans, besides parenting, you have your job, right? You have your own life, and you do have to have that self-care element. You need the respite. So you need people who can speak those good values to you, cheer you on, cry with you, help you to know, okay, if you really need to disengage for a little period, go for a short holiday, don't guilt trip you, because you need to take care of you sometimes,
Yes.
in order to be a good carer. Yeah.
Okay.
Tina, thank you so much for being here with us today, and thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom. And I think the key takeaway is really about building community and communicating,
Yep.
and also the idea of play and not just the screen as well.
So if I were to want to have a consult with you, Tina, where can I reach you?
Okay, the easiest I can say now is probably my Instagram handle.
Okay.
It's Tina Shed Training, all one word.
SHED.
Yes.
Okay.
To shed the old to take on the new. Okay, so it comes from a mindset thing. It's a verb, not the house shed, okay,
Okay.
but a verb shed. You would see a ladybug
Okay.
that is in a pomegranate color. That was designed by my ADHD son, who is doing digital art now. So yeah,
Cool.
graphic design. Yeah, so it shows a ladybug stylized like a peeling off of it, but it's to show the mature ladybug coming out of its pupa, to shed the old so that you can mature. Yeah, so if you look for me there, you will be able to reach out to me. I do parent coaching. I do coach teens who are a bit more older to adults also who
Okay.
have neurodivergent
Mm.
NI workshops and stuff. So yeah,
Okay.
search for me there.
Okay.
Thank
Once
you.
again, thank you so much, Tina, for being here with us today. Now, if you've liked what we have just created this episode, and please go watch the episode before this as well. If you feel like you know of another parent that could really benefit from this, please also share the video with them. We really appreciate you. So once again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you, Tina.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome.